Hey, yo, it is time for another coffee chat with Mom Jones. Yes, y'all, look, I'm here. That's all I can say about this Monday. I am here. Funny enough, hold on, let me get this shared out real quick. And while I do that, I will just go ahead and give y'all a little brief introduction of who I am because it has been a while. I mean, it's been a week, but it's been a while. It's been a while that I've been here prior to last week. But anywho, I am Sybil, aka Mom Jones. I am the owner and creator here at Mamas and Coffee, Facebook page, Facebook group, website, all the great things. Hold on, let's see. Come on in and chat with me. I'm pushing this out to my social media platforms. So just bear with me. Just bear with me, people. Just bear with me. But yeah, I am Sybil, aka Mom Jones. I am the lady behind Mamas and Coffee. Okay, so you can visit my website here at mamasandcoffee.com. We talk about all things love, life, family, and home. Okay, we talk about it all. Everything. Everything. So go to mamasandcoffee.com to get, the latest articles as well as sign up for my newsletter and just follow me on social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the social platforms at Mamas and Coffee. Okay, it's really that simple. But my coffee chats are just something that I love to do. I had to readjust my desk, y'all. I am sitting my booty. Ooh, shoot! I'm sitting my booty down this morning instead of standing up, so I had to readjust my desk a little bit. And as y'all can see, I am still trying to decorate. I'm still getting my life together, but it's all good. Now, last week, I think my coffee chat, and y'all can comment. So, leave me some comments. Let me know what's on your mind. Ask me a question. I'll answer. Yeah, just ask me. But last week we talked about being neighborly and handling those weird phone calls from your grownish kids. Okay, like those phone calls that you're like, um, my child, no, I am not going to buy you a plane ticket to come home to get a flu shot. And which, by the way, she did go ahead and get her flu shot, the flu mist, because she didn't want the shot. She wanted the mist at the local pharmacy. So she good. She good. But we were talking about being neighborly. And if you talk to your neighbors, if you're friendly with your neighbors, and just the importance of, my opinion, the importance of being neighborly with your neighbors, like speaking, hey, how you doing? You ain't got to be best friends. You just need to be neighborly, friendly. But I did have a question come in later asking me to share my 2 cents about if you don't like your neighbor, how do you handle that? Well, let me tell you, folks. First of all, you're not going to know if you like your neighbors or not if you don't talk to them. so, so you probably need to, have a slight conversation with them to know if you like them or not. To honestly be able to say, yeah, you all right. But to answer your question about how to deal with a neighbor that is rude or that you just don't like. Now, some of you know this already, and if you don't know this, I'll go ahead and let you know. We are a military family, so we move every okay, y'all, we are averaging 2 years. Every 2 years. I was going to say every 2 to 3 years, but we move about every 2 years. So I change neighbors often, and I have had a neighbor or two that I didn't like. and the feeling was mutual. Like we just did not get along. Like there was no bad blood. Right? We just personality wise, we knew we were not going to be fine. Like we were not going to be friends, right? But we had to live next door to one another. Now, how did I approach those particular situations? I just kept in my mind that, hey, I'm leaving, right? I'm going to be moving, or they're going to be moving soon, right? Because again, as a military family, we're moving. So somebody is going to move. So I just looked at like, okay, had enough small talk to figure out when they were going to be PCSing. Oh, 6 months? All right, bet. I can deal with you for 6 months. But I was still cordial because I have to live around you. What that meant, if I'm walking out my house and I see you, good morning. Keep it moving. We ain't got to talk. We're not going to pretend that we like one another. Good morning. Keep it moving. Or don't speak at all. Now, how would I handle if it was truly a heated, tense situation with the neighbor? Again, we live here. Right? So let's say you're not a military family. You move into this neighborhood. This is your forever home, and you do not like the neighbors. Again, very simple. Just don't engage. Don't engage. If they're rude, if they are putting trash on your property, then you handle it accordingly. And that does not mean that you go dump the trash back in their yard. That may mean if you have a homeowners association, you contact them, get them involved. If you need to, maybe you need to call in the police to have a civilized conversation. But, again, for me, my encounters with neighbors have always been very friendly. Even the ones that we just didn't mesh, right? There was one, we said our piece to one another. That's actually what got me in trouble. that is what got me on the dislike neighbor list, because I spoke up for not just myself, the entire neighborhood, right? Like, it was, hey, I brought the matter to a head. Hey, this isn't right. The way that you are going about X, Y, and Z is not right. So let's talk about it. We talked about it. I was good. I was good. And that's with anyone, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be a neighbor. It's just anyone. If I meet people and we don't mesh, I'm going to carry on with my life. If we need to have a sit down conversation about it, I'm going to let you know how I feel. I'm going to listen to how you feel about it. We're going to try to find a middle ground. If we do, great. If we don't, all right, bad. My motto is, this goes beyond just being neighbors as well. This is just my motto in life, and it's something that I hope I have taught my children, and something that I have talked to my children about since they were little. They're now grownish. 2 are in college. 1 is a senior in high school. But I don't tell them this. I don't say it in these words to them, but this is this is how I look at it. I don't sleep with you. Right? Like, you do not live in my home. I'm not going to bed with you at night. I'm not feeding you, clothing you, baby, none of that. So we don't have to like one another. And in life, let's just be real, moms. Okay? Let's just be real. Let's be honest. We work with people every day that you just don't like, but you have to coexist with them. So I look at it that way within my neighborhood too. Again, like where I live now, I talk to my neighbors. Hey, how you doing? I'm looking to see where she is. I was actually sitting outside with Princess Tiana, my dog, waiting for our neighbor to come outside because Tiana is training him on, hey, I'm outside. You need to bring me a treat, right? Like, and she goes out, lays in the front yard, and just waits. I'm like, Tiana, we gotta go. We gotta go inside. No, she'll lay there and wait until she gets her treats, pretzels. That's hey. But it's funny because my neighbors, they speak to me to play with my dog. But it's cool. I'm cool with that, right? I'm like, all right, that's cool. Yeah, I talk to my neighbors. Like we talk. We genuinely talk. Like when we first moved in, and I shared this last week too. And actually, let me go ahead. I'm gonna drop the link here in the comments that you can go watch last week's live. So go check out last week's coffee chat where I was talking about being neighborly and all other things because I was talking for a while last week. But I do think it's important to get to know your neighbors. You never know. You never know when there may be an emergency. You never know. Funny enough, talking about neighbors and getting along with neighbors. This was a few years back. We had a neighbor, moved into this neighborhood. I spoke to the neighbor, did not respond, didn't speak to me at all. Nothing. Did not acknowledge my presence. And I would speak every time I saw this neighbor. Just refused to acknowledge me. You saw me and you heard me because I'm loud. I know you saw me. Oh. So a couple of weeks passed. Have a knock on my door. Went to the door. This neighbor asking if our power was out as well. Yes, my mom was in town visiting, and this has been years ago. And my mom's like, yeah, so my mom opened the door. And she's like, yes, the power's out, but hold on, let me get my daughter. So went to the door. And this lady, she's like, oh yeah, I was just wanting to make sure that the power in the neighborhood went out and not just at my house because she wasn't able to get into her garage nor in her house because she entered her house through the garage and through the garage door, into the home. But because the power was out, she could not get the garage open. Therefore, she couldn't get in her house. She didn't have her house key. So I was a little confused because I'm like, even though I don't use my front door when I'm driving my car, I still have the keys on my key ring. But essentially, the neighbor wanted to come to my house and wait because it was hot. It was a hot day. It had been storming all day. Weather was nasty, hot. But I'm like, yeah, nah. I have spoken to you for a few weeks, for days. And we were moving into the neighborhood. We were new. But I was like, nah, I'm not letting you in. You better get in your car and drive to the nearest coffee shop or wherever and go sit there. You missed your chance. Right? So, so just little things like that. Another reason that I think it's important to be neighborly or to at least talk to your neighbors is, again, thinking back several years ago, girls were young. We were living in DC. Again, we've been here 3 times now, but this was our first time being in DC. And I had gone out with my husband to help shovel the snow. Right? I'm like, I'm gonna help shovel the snow. And actually, I didn't shovel the snow at all that day. I had gone out on the deck and was just standing out on the deck in some shorts, a t-shirt, and some socks. Don't ask me why, but that's what I did. And he was shoveling the snow off the deck. But I'm just standing out there, walked back in the house, and my back just went out. Like I was screaming, fell on the floor, couldn't move, like painful. So I had exchanged numbers with not my immediate neighbor, but one door down. So my husband had called them to see if they could just if yeah, he had called to see if they could come sit with the girls. Well, in turn, when the wife came over, she's like, "No, we're calling 911." So they did. They called 911. Y'all took a ride in the ambulance. Uh, like it had snowed. Like that year had snowed. Like there was no getting out. Like my husband couldn't drive the car. Like I forgot what year it was, but DC had gotten a lot of snow that year. So the ambulance came, picked me up, took me to the hospital. My neighbor took my three girls. Again, they were little. Like my youngest was a baby. Took them to their house. They spent the night with them. But our immediate neighbor also came over because when they heard they had a scanner, they heard over the scanner the dispatch saying, what address they were going to. They knew it was our house. They came over. The husband was a volunteer EMT. He came over, made sure everything was good. Da 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 da. The actual ambulance showed up. They got me squared away, got me to the hospital. Um, my husband, he eventually did make it to the hospital, which is funny because he when he came to pick me up, he didn't bring me any shoes, y'all. So I was discharged in my basketball shorts that I had on, t-shirt, and socks. I was like, dude, you didn't bring me any shoes nor a coat. He did give me his coat. But I was like, what the heck? But But those two neighbors, one I did speak to more. We hung out from time to time. The couple who took our kids, but then our other neighbor, they came over, made sure we were okay, talked to the EMT. They even locked up the house for my husband. They locked everything up, right? And that was just our neighbors. So I make it a point that every time that we move, I'm not looking for a new BFF. No, I'm just being neighborly. And it's not always my immediate neighbors. I do try to make a connection with my immediate neighbors, right? Like the people on my street. Because I also believe that they are my first line of defense. They are the eyes and ears on the ground when I'm not home. And even when I am home, right? Like, let's be real. Your neighbors recognize when something isn't quite right. Now, let's, I don't ask my neighbors, again, I do have older kids. And like, don't be looking to see what my kids are doing. Like, don't be those neighbors. And even when your kids are little, right? I was the same, like, okay, yeah. Like if you see my kids acting crazy, let me know, right? But I don't use my neighbors to spy on my children, whether they are little or older. I'm not saying they're the eyes and ears in that manner, but they are the eyes and ears that, let's say, as mom, I go out of town and my kids decide they're going to throw a party. Well, as I have told my children, you are your mother's child. You won't get away with it. Mom, I never threw a party. I didn't throw parties at your house ever. I didn't, y'all. I was not that teenager. I was too afraid. I was like, shoot, I want to live. But your neighbors, if you're out of town, they can get packages for you. If you forget to cancel an Amazon shipment or something, they can get your mail. They also are the eyes and ears that, let's say something is happening at your house. Someone does try to break into your home. They can see if there's any activities happening that should not be going on in your home when you're away, or even when you are at home. Let's say that you get sick. Your neighbors, my neighbors, and this isn't me being nosy, this is just me being neighborly and observant, right? I don't know their schedule, but I do recognize, okay, the car hasn't moved. Hey, you out of town? They're like, you good? Is everything all right? Little things like that matter. And I will throw this back to the military side of the house, right? Thinking back when my kids were younger and my husband deployed, I wanted my neighbors to know, hey, Sybil is there alone with her 3 kids. Because guess what? If we don't see Sybil, we might need to go check on her. Or if we see her kids outside, that's abnormal for Sybil's kids to just be outside alone. Let's go make sure everything is okay. I'm not telling y'all to be neighborly to to be a nuisance of a neighbor, or being neighborly to borrow something. I'll be knocking on my door borrowing some sugar every other week. Shoot. You can borrow some this time, but you coming back next week, you need to go to the store and buy your own doggone sugar. Or you know what? I'm the neighbor that would be like, oh, you here to borrow sugar? Girl, I ain't got no sugar, but let's get in the car. We can get in the car. We go to the grocery store together. You can get some sugar. Yeah, because I ain't got no more. I am that neighbor. I am that wife, that mom. I'm like, y'all, I ain't got no sugar, no flour, no groceries. Let's DoorDash. That's me. That is me. I am the worst. Just like yesterday, y'all. I said, okay, I'm a cook. I was ready to cook Sunday dinner. Then I realized I didn't want to cook Sunday dinner. So we went out. We went to Red Lobster because I was like, I don't feel like cooking. I had the best intentions. I really did. But I just decided I didn't want to cook. And that's okay. But you know what? That's also another reason to be neighborly. Because maybe you'll luck up, have a neighbor who enjoys cooking, and they'll invite you over for dinner from time to time. And then just be like me. I'm not really going to be able to contribute a dish, but I'll go buy a dessert. I don't cook for other people, y'all. Now, I will tell y'all this. I am not the neighbor who's going to invite you over to eat dinner. Like, we'll grill. You come over and grill. But I'm not that neighbor who's baking you cookies or, telling you, oh, yes, I made, I don't know, some dish and we have extra, so come on over and eat. That is not me. I am not that neighbor. But I am the neighbor who's like, oh, girl, look, let me go buy something. I will buy something. I can bring a couple bottles of wine. I'm that neighbor. You want to come over for a cocktail? We have the Bartesian. Like, that's me. Or, oh, you coming over to hang out? Yes, come on over, girl. Come on over. We're gonna have something to drink and what you want to eat. I'm not cooking it. I'll DoorDash it though. That's me. But I'll have you over. I actually joke about this. I'm just talking, y'all. I'm just chatting. This is coffee chat. Coffee chat with MomJonz. Every time we move, again, this kind of goes back to the fact that we move every couple of years. Me and my husband say that we're going to entertain people. We're like, yeah, we're going to have people over. All right. We start out with the best intentions. And then I'm like, man, dude, ain't having nobody in my house. It's not because I don't want people in my house. It's just that I'm not a host. I am not a hostess at all. You come to my house, the first time you come over, and again, I don't really invite people over my house. I just have some people who tell me, Sybil, I'm coming over. Okay, bet, come on over. You're gonna come over. Hey, how you doing? Da 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 da. Welcome to the house. Here's the bathroom. Here's the kitchen. Here's the cups. Here's the plates. Here's the refrigerator. Here's the pantry. Help yourself. Don't ask me if you can go to the bathroom. You grown. So if you need to use the bathroom, get your butt up and go to the bathroom. You want something to drink? You better go in there and get it. I am not a hostess at all. I'm not. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. In my old age, I'm working on it. My kids are the same way, right? If they have friends over, now they'll have friends over, or my youngest, she'll have friends over. And she's like, all right, here's the kitchen. Help yourself. Oh, yeah, what you want to eat? Okay, I'll DoorDash something. We are not that family. You're not coming over here. You're not going to have a nice spread on the kitchen. No, no, that's not us. Come over. Here's where everything is. Sit down on the couch. Chill. How are you today? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That is how I roll. Period. But I do believe in being neighborly. And if you don't get along with your neighbors, that's fine too. You don't have to like your neighbors. You don't have to like your coworkers. You don't have to like the cashier at the grocery store, right? But you do have to coexist and just be cordial with people. And I will say this too, and because I have found in my older years that I get frustrated with people easier. But I do realize, partially because I have my own mess, everyone is dealing with something. Right? We see people who are smiling, but we really don't know what pain or sadness or heartache that they are hiding, that they're masking behind that smile, because they show up at work and they have to smile. They walk out of their house, they have to smile, right? They're coexisting. So I remind myself of this. I remind My husband reminds me of this all the time. Give people grace. Don't necessarily jump con- to conclusions that someone is being rude because of their tone, right? Because we all are different. We all have different personalities. And I'm going to use my children as an example here. I have 3 daughters, all 3 different little me's. And many days I have to remind myself that although they are mine, I raised them, they lived with me until they were grown, until they left for college. They are still 3 very different people. And I have one child who is extremely direct when she speaks. She's not been rude, she's not been disrespectful. Over the years, I've had to relearn that for myself. I had to remind myself of that, right? Because she's my kid. I know when she's been disrespectful, right? Like I've dealt with her when she's disrespectful, but she is just extremely direct. And that sometimes with many people, we take that as someone being rude or disrespectful. No, they're not. They're not. Also, we have to remind ourselves that someone else's reaction to something, right? Is how they react to it. It's not a slap to you. Again, I have to remind myself that every day, right? Because I am more of um I have more of the personality. I think I'm all right. Let's see. So I'm trying to use these examples with my own children. So I am a responsive individual, right? So if you say something to me, you send me something, I respond. Hey, thank you. Hey, is this good? Hey, da da da, right? Where, and this just isn't my children, I'm just using my children as an example. This is just people, right? Whereas I have dealt with other people, they don't say nothing, including my children. One of my children, like, send her something, no response, nothing. And I'm like, can I get a thank you? Can I get a kiss my butt? Can I get a thumbs up? Something? And I was taking it as being unappreciative, right? But I had to remind myself over the years, nah, it's just personality. She shows her appreciation differently than I do. Her response, she doesn't respond to every little thing, right? Where I'm like, I'm that person in the group chat. I'm going to respond to what you say to acknowledge that I heard you, right? Whether I heard you physically speaking, whether I heard you, okay, yeah, I received your text. Thumbs up. Thanks. I'm going to acknowledge it. Whereas this one doesn't. Then I have another one who is very similar to me, right? One of my children is very similar to me, down to the T of she loves to do videos. She loves videos and extremely responsive, caring. Which I'm going to talk one day about how sometimes being a caring person um, can leave you lonely, can leave you feeling like no one truly cares about you when you need them to care about you. But we're going to talk about that. But over the course of last few years, I'm like, oh, dang, you acknowledge everything. Like, and it's like, okay, when is the conversation going to end? Right? Because I acknowledge what she says, she acknowledges what I say, but the conversation is over. The conversation has been over, but it's just this sense of both of us feeling the need to let the other know that we're acknowledging what has been said. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to dig a little deeper into that as well, because those three different personalities, I have all three of them. And as a mom, just like for you as a mom, um, and especially as your kids get older, I think we start to see some of those traits. But then as mom, we struggle with them, right? We're like, ooh, but mom, they're you. They're your mini yous. They are your little mini you, right? mini Sybils, aka mini MomJonzes. And I'm rambling, but just bear with me. But like I did a video a few months ago about parenting teenagers. And the number one tip that I have and that I wanted to share with other moms who are in that older teenage phase of parenting the older teenagers is to remember that you were once a teenager. Those moments, like how I was talking about all three of my girls' personalities, and I've had all three of them at some phase of my life, just like you've had all of your kids' personalities at some phase of your life. To remember that you were once a teenager and once a grownish child yourself. And I do think, because I used to think, like when when the girls were young, right, when they were toddlers, I thought that was the hardest thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, this is so hard being a mom of these little ones. Nah, it's when they are older teens and that grownish phase, because you're still mom, but your role changes a bit, right? You're there as their mother, but I look at it now, at least for the grownish two, that I am now there as more as a guidance, right? I'm there as an advisor. I can't I can't tell them what time they have to be back at their dorm or their apartment. I can't tell them where they can go. I can't tell them right now. You could try, right? Moms of grownish kids who have moved out of the home or away in college, right? You might want to tell them that they have a curfew or where they can go and what time they need to be back. They don't live with you. And if they're away in college, what you going to do? Yes, you can remind them that you're paying tuition, that you're providing money for all their extracurricular activities, that you pay the car note, that you pay the insurance. You can say all those things. But the reality is they're going to still do what they're doing or find a way to do what they're doing. So, another quick ramble. I was talking to our youngest, who is a senior. We were chatting yesterday, and I was like, and she's not 18. She's only 17. So again, she is still a minor. But even at 18, if you were 18, you live in my house. You still want to do as I tell you to do. But I'm like, look, all I ask of you is to tell me where you're going and who you're going with. You know your curfew, because she does have a curfew. I'm not tracking your every move, right? Like, yes, do we share our locations? Yes, we do. Apple, we share our locations. We have Life 360. But as I tell my entire family, because we all have Life 360, I use it for precautionary measures only. If I can't get in touch with you, for a while, okay, where are you at? But I'm not looking at your every move. I don't want you to track me. My youngest, she tracks me all the time, right? Like during the week, she'll message me from school, right? Like if I'm out somewhere, like before school gets out, like 30 minutes or so before school gets out, she'll message me and she'll tell me how long I've been wherever I am. Why are you over? Da, 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 da. You've been there. Girl, if you don't leave me alone, I'm grown. But I say all that to say, mamas, One, be neighborly, because you never know when you may need your neighbor, right? Like you don't know. What? Sorry. See, I have a child who just sent me a text talking about a recommendation. You be neighborly, because you never know when you may need someone. Okay? If you don't get along with your neighbor, be neighbor, just be cordial. If it's a heated dispute, you live in HOA, get them involved. All right? And when it comes to raising your teens and your grownish kids, remember, you was once a teenager yourself. Hey, that's all I got for you today. It was a nice rambling coffee chat, but that's okay. That's what these coffee chats are meant to be. Just whatever comes to the top of my mind. That's what I'm gonna talk about. But be sure to check to connect with me here every Monday. The coffee chats are supposed to be at 9 a.m. I'm probably going to change those to 10 a.m. But it also depends on what Princess Tiana, because she sometimes wants to go outside and sit there all day long. But my ultimate goal is to have the coffee chats here every Monday at 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meet me here live for coffee chats, and we'll have just a live rambling session, and you can do some Q&A right here live, put them in the chat. I'll answer your questions. Anything. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll answer. I'll give you my 2 cents. But next week I will be traveling. So I should be no, I will be. What time? Yeah, my flight arrives back in DC at like 10 a.m. So I won't be here next week. All right. But anywho, you guys have a wonderful, beautiful day. Remember to know you, be you, and love you. And hey, yo, go over to the website at oh Lord Jesus, at mamasandcoffee.com, and let me just drop this here. So this particular mug is in my Zazzle shop. So if you go to Zazzle.com and click on and do a search for Mamas and Coffee, but I'm going to go ahead and drop my Teespring shop because that's what's connected to my website right now. And it's just easier for me to grab it. There, you can go order some Mamas and Coffee merch there. The other great thing you should be doing to get my blog posts and any other updates I have going on is to join my newsletter here at mamasandcoffee.com/newsletter. All right. Now, there you get a mixture of the random coffee chats and the more curated coffee talks, as well as newsletter with empowering messages and events. So make sure you connect with me there, just like you need to. Hold on, I'm putting all the good links in here today. Why? Because it's no more fear of telling folks where I am. Okay. In case y'all wonder what I'm looking at, I'm looking at my other monitor over here. Y'all like, why is she looking over here why is she looking off to the left? What's she doing? Okay, I had to get my links. So there, join my private Facebook group as well. All right, I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful, beautiful